Namaste everyone.
Dopo la memoria non ce la fa. E tu hai tutti di spostare i pedati.
Non so più niente, quindi
All right, we're live now. Welcome everyone. Really excited to have all of you this Sunday. As you know, my name is Ashutosh, and I'm really excited to have all of you this Sunday. As you know, we meet every Sunday 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is the time in the California region, to learn about the Hindi language. For those of you who are completely new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/university, where you will find videos from past several years, right? So we've been doing it for almost 14, 15 years now, right? So that's a great opportunity for you to kind of get familiar with the prior videos, okay? For those of you who are decided this year to join and do the live interactive classes, the best resource for you, which I'll be going over in detail, is this resource, which is tiny.cc/Hindi University. This is our go-to resource to find out all the information that we've been covering in the past and that we plan to cover in 2023 as well. My goal in this class, because this is the orientation class and we have about 50 plus people in this session, and a lot of people are joining on Facebook as well, is to give you a broad level or higher level overview of how you can plan your Hindi language journey. First of all, is one of the best skill you can develop as we start this new year, right? I mean, not only you will improve your cognitive skills, your ability to expand your knowledge base, it's an important skill to sort of interact with people at a deeper level. And as you know, Hindi is one of the largest spoken languages, the fourth most spoken language in the world. And just like knowing a new language, not just Hindi, any language, it kind of expands your footprint and help you connect with more people. Okay, and over the years we have developed an amazing community. I'm really proud of that. So the first half of the class, I plan to give you a high level overview, okay, about the Hindi language program. And in the second half, we have a bunch of practice sessions as well. Over the year, a lot of Hindi advanced Hindi learning students, they decided to start the practice sessions just so that they can also build confidence and also give confidence to the new students. Okay, so they will be talking about the practice sessions. So, and I know you are globally located, so some of you may not be able to join the Sunday classes, 8 a.m. classes, but the practice session is another way for you to find out what is there, what kind of sessions are going on, what level are these sessions about, right? And then if you cannot make it to the Sunday classes, you can join those the practice sessions. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to quickly, I may not be able to go over each of you, but I want to quickly read, some of you shared what's your first name and where you're joining from. So I'm going to quickly go over that just so that it gives motivation to more people. So we have myself, I'm joining from California, and Chris from Taiwan, Mike from Germany, Vivekanand from London, Leanne from Australia, Miguel, Mexico. Really excited. John from California, Ravi from Ashburn, Virginia, Teresa, England, Carrie from New York, Patricia from Brazil, Somer, Tennessee, Shafat from Bangladesh. Feel free to drop off your name and where you're joining from. That's a great way for you to really see how global the community is. Mimiji from Florida, Machias from Guatemala. Amazing. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Okay, as I said, I'm not gonna my goal is to kind of give you a higher level overview in this session, right? So we may not be going over completely into the weeds, but my goal is to give you some tidbits about how the language learning will help you. Okay, so give you some thought process about how I conduct the classes. So I use two major philosophy while giving the language classes. One is the language immersion. Okay, language immersion is a pretty common language learning framework you might have heard of, which is basically immerse. Like when a child, they learn the language, they are surrounded by people who are speaking the same language. Okay, they're not learning it through grammar, They are learning it through their mom and dad, and then relatives who are surrounding them, and they try to mimic the same thing. Okay, pretty popular framework. So we take some principles from language immersion. Okay, however, as a grown up, as an adult, which is mostly my classes are like catered towards, there is some limitation with language immersion because it's a kid has an advantage. They don't have any prior bias. They can just look at their like surroundings and learn and pick it from there. Later comes the grammar for them. Like later comes the more structured part. But all the informal stuff they can pick it up pretty easily. Okay. But as a grown up, I have realized over the years that you need a balance between the language immersion and the grammar methods. Okay. So I combined both the philosophy. So as you start the classes, as you start the journey, you will learn that, language immersion, which is some of the patterns that we have developed. Okay. And in addition to that, slowly you will learn some basic grammar concepts, the word order, which will help you build the confidence. Okay. And I want to take you to the useful resource that I pointed toward, which is the tiny.cc Hindi University. So in case if you haven't had a chance to go over it, I definitely recommend you. And I plan to spend about 10-15 minutes going over it so that way all of you have seen it with me. Okay, and if you have any questions, feel free to write it in Zoom. One of the co-hosts will read the questions and then I'll make sure that I answer it. So let me share my screen and let me walk you through the tiny.cc page that we have. So I hope all of you can see my screen. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so this is our tiny.cc page. The first thing you want to do is, as you go to this page, is go to the very first tab that we have. Give me 1 minute here, which is the Sunday Hindi classes. Okay, so like anything else, like you want to know about how to. The very first question we have is that I come across is like, how do I join the Sunday classes? What are the Zoom details? Do I have to be on the Zoom or can I join it through other medium as well? So that is correct, right? So this is the Zoom link that you can join the class through, as most of you already opted for. And some of you, if you're still not familiar and watching it on Facebook, here's the Zoom link. You don't need any password for it. Okay, this is the meeting ID. If you don't plan to use on Zoom, and if you want to join via some other medium, this is your go-to page, facebook.com Hindi 101. You can watch all the prior recorded videos here. Okay. Next thing is like which books that I will be covering in this session. Okay. So we have and if you guys, just like the way you shared your name and location, if you can all share your current Hindi level. It is a complete beginner, intermediate, advanced. Why don't we start with that? Okay, so if you can all share current Hindi level, you can use the chat. Also current. Okay, so I see as a Mimiji as beginner, advanced beginner. Okay, a lot of beginners. Anybody who's been learning for intermediate. I see. Just one request: if you can mute yourself if you're not talking, that'll be great. Okay, so I see a combination of beginners, intermediate, mostly two categories. And I know some of you are pretty conservative in terms of rating yourself. I know some of you are advanced. Okay, some of you are joining a beginner, 31 days in Duolingo. Okay, awesome. Fine. So you see a combination of people. So what I plan to do is basically cater towards the course towards both the sides. You have the beginner side and then you have intermediate, advanced. Okay. So for beginners, I plan to cover a blend of two books. First one is the book called Pingu Learns Hindi. Okay, which is a book written by the Hindi University. Okay, Pingu Learns Hindi, and all the team members that we have. And the second one is the book by Professor Robert DeLacy. Okay, Robert DeLacy. You don't have to buy the books, I will be covering the material. Okay, as long as you cover the material and do the homework that I'll be providing during the class, you'll be good. Okay, so this is the stuff for beginner. Okay, for intermediate advanced level, I thought a lot. Okay, and this is a lot of the books are there. Okay, so it has to be a custom curriculum that I'll be developing. Okay, a custom course which is basically some of the material that I have developed over the years, and I'll use some reference material from Professor Usha Jain. She's a professor at UC Berkeley. And then we will be covering also the book from Professor Rupert Snell.
Sorry, but we still see your computer's
Screen?
and
Yes, I see. Okay, so give me 1 minute.
and we don't see the board.
No, that's right. Can you see my whiteboard now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. So I was just going over how I plan to structure the course, right? As you can see that the level of current student is a combination of, you have beginners, and it's also at the same time you have intermediate advanced level folks. So it will be a blend of Pingu Learns Hindi and the book by Professor Robert DeLacy. Okay, and for the intermediate advanced level, it'll be a custom curriculum that I'll be developing. And I'll share all the details with you about what are the topics that you will be learning. Okay, with Professor Usha Jain, some reference material from Professor Usha Jain. She used to be a professor at UC Berkeley. Rupert Snell, he's teaching at UT Austin. Amazing professors, okay, and they have developed over the years great material. So my goal is that you will be getting the same level of experience in the classes, Sunday classes, that you will get at any US universities or any academic institute if you're enrolled into it. That at least that is the intent. Okay, and you will be interacting with people at the same level, and they will give you the same level of motivation. Okay, that's the intent behind it. Okay, any questions so far? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Not a question, Ashu Ji, but I think that's a great idea. So, for that you can do things maybe that we have interests on, like always the confusion about remote past, recent past, things we've talked about on the practice chat list for years. Yeah. That would be great.
Yep. Awesome. Anyone else? Don't be shy. It's a pretty chatty group, as you guys will soon learn. So if you're completely new, joining for the first time, you will feel right in. Okay, so you will feel that completely welcomed, and I highly encourage you. If you have the question, most likely other people will have as well. So use it, use this opportunity. Okay, go for it, Shilaji.
The Robert DeLacy, that's the elementary Hindi? Yes,
Robert DeLacy is the elementary Hindi. Okay, so for beginners, because I want to expand more on what we have been doing, right? While Pingu Learns Hindi is a complete beginner's book, Robert DeLacy, he covers some of the advanced material as well, which is completely required. Okay.
Ashu Ji,
yes, please.
Is the DeLacy book available?
Yes, I'll share the information with you in the practice group about the DeLacy book. It is available. Okay.
Dhanyavad.
Yeah. Anyone else?
All right. Everything is fine, teacher.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Miguel. All right, so let me go back to the tiny.cc. I want to make sure that I cover all the stuff with you guys, okay? Give me just 1 minute. All right, so far we have covered, and these are some of the links of the book from Professor Rupert Snell, as well as as well as the Pingu Learns Hindi. And then if you missed some of the previous classes, so I have a link of that as well about how you can benefit from the recorded session. Another very important thing is basically the time, which always causes the confusion because I'm located in California, and there are apps that can help you convert the time. You can use those apps. I have also alternatively provided some sample times of different regions. Okay, so that way you can really see when it is 8 a.m. in California, what will be the time in your region. But it's still a very common question asked among all the students. And if you still have any questions, feel free to drop your city name or country name, and I'll tell you what time will be at your region at that time. Okay. Additionally, I have the calendar. One of the amazing student, Lou, she helped me put together the calendars. I'm going to share the link with you as well for that. Do I have to pay for the classes? No, you don't have to pay for the classes. You will never have to pay for the classes. So that's rest assured. I will not be covering that. Machiaji, you have any questions?
Yes, for the time, it might be a good idea to put your time zone as UTC plus or UTC minus. No, that would be great.
I will do that. That's a pretty good input. I will do that. Okay. That way everybody can sort of like use it as a reference. See. Okay. Now the next thing is practice sessions. So just like the way we have the Sunday classes, as I said, we have several, like, about 8+ practice sessions happening throughout the week with amazing people. Okay. And sometimes people, I mean, honestly, I can say that with confidence, they're more fun than the Sunday classes itself. Okay. Because you can chit chat, you can have more friendly conversation without any fear, and your peers will help you. Okay. I'm going to, right after I'm done, I'm going to go and ask each of the hosts who are hosting the practice sessions to kind of give you a flavor of what it will cover in the practice sessions. Okay. These are completely optional. You don't have to join, any or all of them. This is just like in case this is an additional material that you have. Okay. And even if you miss the classes, that's completely fine. This is just like think of it as like, how you read the material, you want to practice it, right? You don't want to just learn the classes, learn the concept, and not have the platform to practice with. Okay. Right. Anything you want to add, Kelly ji, on the practice session side before we do the detailed dive into the practice sessions?
Yeah, I think just the main thing that's up there in the bright yellow for people that don't know you yet, the most important thing about the practice sessions is that it's the spirit of Ashu Ji's classes, that there's patience, kindness, encouragement, and that it's okay to make mistakes to learn. So that's, you don't have to have any other requirement to join, but and to have fun. So that's it.
Awesome. Now I'm going to go over. So this is the calendar, right? And again, this is the Pacific time calendar, and you can see that, Sunday we have our classes, but right before that we have a practice session. After that also we have a practice session, and you will see that in the calendar. Okay. So I do want you to check out this page as well. Lou, she helped us put together this calendar in 2 views, so you can check those as well, and that will also tell you the HU calendar, Hindi University calendar for all the classes. So in a given day, you can see what resources you have. Okay. So you can tell on Sunday you have these resources, on Monday you have this opportunity to learn and interact with other folks. Okay. All the links are there. You don't have to write anything down. It's just like I want to go over it because sometimes it's easy to miss the stuff. Okay. Then this is the HU library. Very common question, like, there are about 600 videos now in the HindiUniversity YouTube channel. And even for me, it's very easy to get lost, and it's very easy to ask this question, where do I start? Okay. And everybody has different level. Okay. So this resource is created completely so that you can filter the classes, and you can just go to the section that you're interested in. Okay. They are divided based on the level. If you're completely beginner, you can use this section to filter only the classes that you're interested in. Okay. You can also see them based on the topic. Okay. Let's say you want to, go over adjectives in Hindi. You only have 5 minutes. I may have several videos for Hindi adjectives, and you only want to spend 5 minutes. You can find the video, which is a short video, and directly familiarize yourself with that, and that's about it. Okay. And there are keywords as well, that in addition to the topic, what are the keywords that you're sort of interested in? Sometimes it could be like, I want to know about how do I share my daily routine in Hindi. Okay. How do I share future indefinite in Hindi? All of those, you can use the advantage of the keyword section here. And then the links to the YouTube classes, so you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring out the the structure in the on the YouTube video. Okay, then as in the past we have covered many things. So this is like, this thing is for the intermediate advanced folks. A lot of folks already are familiar with the beginner section. For the intermediate folks, there's a pretty popular book, as I said, is by Professor Rupert Snell, which is the Teach Yourself Hindi. Teach Yourself Hindi. Okay, and this page is completely that, because we have covered this book extensively, chapter by chapter. You can see all the links of the YouTube videos of the prior book. So let's say you are at the place where you are like, I have no time to join the Sunday classes. I have no time to join the practice sessions, but I do have the book, okay, a soft copy of it or a hard copy of it. I just want a supplementary material. What do I do? Okay, I completely empathize with that. This is your page. You can go chapter by chapter, and as you are learning yourself, Hindi, you can watch the videos here. Okay, and then you can post questions in the practice group if something is bothering you and you're not sure about it, and your peers will help you with that. Okay, I think that's pretty much the information I want to condense and cover. I want to get some, in addition to that, there are some additional links that you can, review and take advantage of. But I want to, rather than going over it now, I want to give this opportunity to some of our hosts who will be leading practice sessions to give you some more confidence. And towards the end, I will take a lot of questions from you guys. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to pass it to one of our very senior, long-term friend here, Kelly Ji. She's in California, Berkeley. She's been learning for Hindi for many years, an amazing friend. I'm really excited to have her. So Kelly Ji, back to you. Feel free to take it away from here.
Namaste, dosto. Aap kaise hai? Ashu Ji, you want to put that back up again?
Yes,
so,
I'm going to. Yeah.
So you really haven't seen Ashu Ji yet in his teaching style when he's working with us, but it can't be overstated enough how kind and patient he is as a teacher. So it makes learning Hindi much less intimidating and fun. And so we've really just tried to build on that in the practice sessions. And we started out by just doing conversational Hindi, just trying to imagine ourselves, dropped into a place where we need to speak Hindi. And then from there, we started doing study sessions with books. So in this chat list, if you have any questions, my email is up there. And we noted that there were a lot of people in Asia, like around Thailand, who were saying none of these times worked out for them. If you would like to host a practice session, that would be awesome. You can always email me and talk about that. So I've arranged these from absolute beginner to advanced. So there's quite a few practice sessions. And once you attend these classes and we kind of get to know you and know you're a genuine Hindi learner, then you'll be put on the WhatsApp chat list, and those are in red. And that's where we post the Zoom link, and also after the session, any notes about it. And so it can be a little confusing with all these different chat lists, but you'll see how it goes once you drop in. So I'm just going to go through and ask the hosts of each of the sessions just to give a flavor about what their practice session is like. So we're going to start with JD in Pingu Learns Hindi for absolute beginners.
Namaste, dost. We do Pingu Learns Hindi from the book. We use Ashu Ji's book. We start on page 1 and we go through the entire book. And it's really just a bunch of guys and girls having a good time. We just play with it. We have fun. We enjoy it. And actually we become something of a little community. We enjoy each other's company and we help each other out. The basic idea is that this is for people who don't know much of anything. I mean, if you've just been doing this for even just a few months or even this is the spot to be. We meet twice a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and it's at noon Eastern Standard Time. Everybody's welcome. You don't have to know anything. Oh, I wanted to say, too, that we have the book as an e-book. So you don't have to have the book. If you don't have a hard copy of the book, I can put it on the screen. I do put it on the screen, and we go through it, and you can ask questions. You can be totally confused. Very often I'm totally confused, and we all help each other out. It's just a nice, fun time to spend learning Hindi. I guess that's it. If anybody has any questions, I'm done.
Awesome.
Great. We'll just move down the list. I think next is Aneska Ji.
सब लोग अच्छा मैं हिंदी सीख रही हूँ जयपुर में और बहुत बहुत ठंड है okay, there's no heat here. Okay, so this is Bat Cheat, and for those of you who know Hindi, we love to drink chai and do lots of baatcheet, which is just conversation. What I do, what I've decided to start with today is the first time that I hosted the session, is I started with 25 questions you must know how to say and must know how to answer. And I'll be posting the next set of 25 in the Hindi practice sessions every week. I'll try to sort of begin a round of questions. And what we'll do is if we have a number more than, today we had 6 people. So, but if we get to be more than 6 people, we can split off into breakout groups. So that's sort of the long and the short of it. It's basically a little further ahead than Pingu, but not much. In fact, I invite everybody from every level today, even Masram Ji attended. I mean, he was very helpful. Everyone from every level should come and just practice abhyas, 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 because that's the only way we learn.
Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. We'll go down the line. JDG, I think you already covered it. Colin Ji, you want to give a quick overview? Right. I'm not sure if Colin Ji is there. We'll
Oh,
move on.
sorry. Yeah, I
You're
was
there?
on mute.
Awesome.
I was on
No
mute.
worries. No worries.
So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Colin. I'm from the UK, and I'm proposing to start a new session. And I've made some notes, so I'm just going to quickly skim through those notes.
Awesome.
So yeah, beginner Hindi club, Tuesdays, 8 o'clock UK time. I've called it a club because unlike some of the others, I'm not going to be going through any particular learning books or grammar books or sets of reading books. So, you know, JD's already mentioned Pingu, Learns Hindi book. Sheila Ji, which she's going to say something, I guess. She's using some Story Weaver, and Aneska Ji is doing some conversation. So I'm going to try and do something that's a little bit different to that. There's not going to be any weekly targets, except that obviously we want to make progress. I'm going to try and keep it relaxed, go at a learner's pace, and we will kind of look to be continuing each week from wherever it was that we finished the previous week. So we're not doing chapters or anything like that. Yeah, so I'm not really trying to compete with anybody else. What I'm trying to do is something that maybe there's a bit of a gap for. And I spoke to Ashu Ji and asked him, how could I help? And he suggested I cover some pronunciation. Because that was something that wasn't happening. So my main focus is going to be on pronunciation of Hindi. And as a second to that, I'm also going to cover how to read and write Devanagari. And any practice that I do in terms of pronunciation will be by reading very basic books. And these are going to be below the level that Sheila Ji might be doing. And I'm going to do this because I really do believe in the power of reading for learning languages, and especially for Hindi. And so we're going to be looking at Devanagari. I actually came back to learning Hindi last year, and I'd been away from it for a long, long time. But the first thing I did was to revise my previous knowledge of Devanagari. This was my number one priority. But I actually could only remember a small handful of the letters, but I felt it was essential for me to get back to doing that. And I learned Devanagari as the very first thing I did all those many years ago when I first learned Hindi. And I tied it in with learning pronunciation. And this seemed to work for me anyway, and I've never regretted it. Now, I know it means extra time at the beginning of the Hindi learning journey. And some people might say, well, you know, that's great, and I'd aspire to learning Devanagari, but I would actually say that from my point of view, I felt that it had saved much more time in the long run than it cost me at the beginning. So, and one thing I found when I came back was I suddenly discovered there was a new world on YouTube, for example, on learning Hindi, and that's actually how I found Ashu Ji's HindiUniversity on YouTube. And you know, on there I saw some people referring to Devanagari as a script, and I thought that's interesting. I'd never thought of it like that, because to me it's the alphabet. And the other great thing that I learned was that it's phonetic. And so, you know, even though I'm an English speaker, I'm going to say that actually Devanagari is superior in that way to English. I also then learned how to transliterate Hindi using the Roman Latin alphabet. But I actually never got on with it that well. I never found it that helpful to me anyway. And sometimes I actually felt it was a little bit, you know, unhelpful, should I say. But at that time, there was a standard transliteration system that was used called Hunterian, which is also still the official one used by the Indian government. But what I discovered last year was, you know, the use of Romanagari, as it's also called, seemed to have become really chaotic. And I sort of see that as probably a bigger problem than I ever had. And I was actually finding it quite difficult at times to read people's YouTube comments that were in Hindi, but using the Roman letters. And because there was no longer any standard, it was difficult or even impossible for me to try and look stuff up in a dictionary. So the long and short of it is I still think Devanagari is just as important today as ever, and I think maybe even more important, because it's the best possible way of communicating in Hindi is by using Devanagari itself. And then it opens the door to start reading Hindi books, video headlines, newspapers, and much more, especially if you're in India. And in terms of learning pronunciation, let me give you my own language, which is English, as a great example of why Romanagari has some downsides for beginners. And I'll talk more about why I think that way in the club sessions. And of course, just look how interesting Devanagari is compared to the boring old Latin letters that we use. In the sessions, we will learn Devanagari and pronunciation together. We want to get the benefits of both. And I think that will lead to longer term success. And as I think I've already mentioned, I think it actually makes it quicker and easier in the long term. We'll also try to do some writing with a pen and paper. I know it's not essential these days, but I think there are additional reasons why it is helpful to at least do some. And again, I'll explain that in the club sessions. You can actually write reasonably quickly, and I can show you how to do that. And then we'll also look at how to write Devanagari electronically. So coming back to it last year, I suddenly found that this was possible, and I don't know why I never thought of it before. But actually, I found now that it's quite fast, in my opinion, and not that much slower than writing English, as long as it's done in a certain way. And we can then, at that time, take a look at Romanagari and how I think it can actually then, in that situation, be a good thing. So again, yeah, we'll practice pronunciation mostly through simple reading, and I think that will help provide some structure. some feedback from somewhere. And again, at a basic level. So I'll also be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have about beginner Hindi. And so, yeah, I hope to see you join the Beginner Hindi Club in WhatsApp and join these Zoom sessions. Thank you.
That's amazing, Colin Ji. Thanks for bringing the motivation for.
Yeah. Can I ask a question now, or do you want to? Can I ask a question about?
Yes, please. Yes, please. You can ask. Okay.
So I'm just wondering, I agree completely. The Romanagri confuses me much more than the Devanagari. But I wonder, the simple books, where do we get those? And can we download them and print them from the computer?
So that's an interesting question, right? I mean, it's I don't recommend, like, because all of these books may have the copyright issue, so I don't recommend. It's up to you, basically. There are some material that are shared among students. That's completely okay, right? But like, if you decide based on the recommendation from students, like this is the book that you want to stick with, there are resources that you can get it from, like Amazon or like.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the big books, the Schnell and the I'm talking about the short stories that Colin mentioned that we would read.
So that material will be provided by the people who are facilitating the.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's what I. Thank you.
Nita, you are raising your hand. You have a question?
I just wanted to emphasize what Colin G said, because I went the complete opposite direction and was, as you know, I was studying with you for probably 2 years before I even knew Devanagari. It got to this Rupert Snell book, I think somewhere around chapter 5, and I said, and so then I had to quickly learn Devanagari. So I actually used Rupert Snell. It's just it's a small paperback. It's not a big book, but it's Rupert Snell's Read and Write Hindi Script. And that's pretty much how I learned. And I learned very quickly using his book. So I'm not sure, like, we have a lot of new people, over 60 people, which is amazing. Ashu Ji, I don't know where you put your ad out for this year, but I'm not sure, there's beginners all the way up to intermediate, but I'm not sure if everyone knows Devanagari, but it is very important, and it definitely helps with the pronunciations with aspirated versus unaspirated. So that's just the book that helped me. It's Read, Write, Hindi Script, and it's a Rupert Snell paperback book. So that's all I wanted to say.
No, that's amazing. Okay. Well, I'll hold on some of the questions that I want to answer till the end. So we have Sheila Ji now. Sheila Ji, you want to take it away about your practice sessions? What you cover?
Yeah. Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, you can.
Still showing as disabled.
Give me 1 minute. I'm going to make you co-host. Give me 1 minute. I have to find you. Okay, I made you co-host, so you should be able to share now.
Lovely, thank you very much. So just by way of introduction, I do what is a level 1 story weaver, and I'll explain that in a second. But basically, I'm taking us all back to when we learned our first language and we were standing either with our parents or an uncle or an aunt or a teacher and trying to learn to read our first book. And I want you all to think about what that felt like and how much it actually then influenced you as to how you speak that language today and what enjoyment you may get out of reading in that language today, be it novels, be it works of non-fiction, or be it the news on the internet.
Are you sharing it? 1 minute, Sheila.
No, not yet. I'm just about to, so we use a site called Storyweaver, and I'm actually going to share the site with you so that you can see what it's like. And hopefully you're seeing my shared screen.
Yes, I can see it now.
Yeah. So Storyweaver is a site where you can use for free. You just need to register to sign up to see the stories. And basically they have very, very basic children's stories, a number of levels, and in a huge number of languages. So you could pick your language, in our case Hindi, and your level. We have various levels that go from 1 to 4 or 5. We are currently reading level 1. And level 1 means easy words with word repetition and there's less than 250 words. So not the very basic, this is a blue balloon type line, but not the concepts that are more abstract. So we're at that early stage of reading with good repetition so that you can ingest and understand what's going on. And what we do is just read the story line at a time. We listen to it on a provided audio, and we try and translate or interpret the sentence and understand it. And these are all pictorial books, so the picture is helping with the understanding of what is going on in the story. And we do one a week, and that's restricted to one a week because you need time to review it and understand it and internalize what you have learned and what you need to pay attention to the next time. So that is what we're doing Monday afternoons, UK time at 5 p.m. So adjust that to your time zone, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sheila-ji. One of the question was how long are these practice sessions? So they vary from 30 minutes to 1 hour. Each host is different. And again, like as I said, it's not like if you miss something, you miss the entire thing. It's really about your availability. If you're available for 15 minutes, feel free to join in. You will still benefit from it. Okay. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so that way some more of our hosts can share about their session. So let's see who else is remaining there.
So I'm going to talk about the conversational.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see me, but in 2007, I took the Usha Jain course over at UC Berkeley for a year. I learned how to read and write in Hindi. And then I walked into a restaurant and I could not speak Hindi. So a big thing that we're trying to do in the conversational is to make that leap from studying and talking about Hindi to actually just practicing, just seeing if you can really put together simple sentences. And so we have all levels, but what happens in our practice group is people come in, they populate, we introduce ourselves, we do chota introductions, whatever level you're at. And then depending upon the group, we'll go into breakout rooms by level, or we'll stay together. It depends upon who's in the area. But we've made really good friendships. I've been doing this since August 2020. And I'm very jealous because some of my friends have actually met up in real time. And it's just a great way to practice and to learn from people. And so the thing I love about it, and I've said this on the group, is that each person's Hindi journey is unique. And it's so interesting. And I'm endlessly fascinated talking to people all over the world. So I'm really thankful to Ashu Ji for having that spirit to attract the kind of people who are really interested. Unlike, when I had gotten tutoring sessions before where I could barely get half a sentence out and it was like, no, that is not right. So just having the chance to actually practice is great. The sessions that I'm doing right now, I'm just down to 2, and I'm going to be in an intensive training for 8 Sundays coming up in the next 6 months. So Claire G is going to be filling in for me on these Sundays, including today. And my session starts in like 10 minutes. So I have to actually leave right now. But Claire G, are you there? So you can just introduce yourself. And we have a different Zoom link. What happens is once you're on the WhatsApp chat list, I'll give a reminder reminder Hindi conversational practice in 1 hour. And then about 5 minutes before, I'll post the link. And then you just pop in and we chat. And slow processors, welcome. Rita G, I'm looking at you.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Claire Ji, Professor Claire, you there? Okay, no worries. Vidya Ji? Right. No worries.
Vidya Ji is not here today.
No problem. So I think the bigger message is, I don't know who else is there. If anyone is there from the host side, if you want to talk about it, now is the time. If not, no problem. The bigger message, I think everyone gets it, is in addition to the Sunday classes, you can benefit from bunch of the practice sessions that we have, and I do want you to benefit from it, because as 1 minute, okay, as everyone is different, right? And everyone learns differently. Like, there is a reason, I cannot, when I do the classes, as much as I want to do the Devanagari, sometimes it's hard to do all the sessions in Devanagari, because the students are from all spectrum, right? Some of them are completely new, some of them are advanced. So that's why I commonly stick to the Romanagari part, right? But as we have the practice session, so if you're completely into Devanagari, you want to learn the script, you have the sessions for those, okay? We have about 12 minutes left, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the broadcast, and I'm going to take all the questions from you guys who decided to give your 1 hour today in this journey, and this is going to be your time to discuss. So thanks for all of you who joined on Facebook. If you have any questions on the Facebook side, please drop the message, and I'm going to cover it. I'm going to stop